IRS notice CP22E. This is a notice that you might receive if the Internal Revenue Service audited a tax return and you owe a balance as a result. So we'll go through this. I believe this example is 4 pages long. We'll go through it step by step so you don't miss anything. We're going to go ahead and start at the top right corner where you see the notice number CP22E, the tax year. In this case, it's 2016. The notice date is January 30th, 2017. And then Social Security number, contact phone number, and if needed, your caller ID. So basically, what I always recommend to people is that you pay particularly close attention to the notice date, because if you are going to, for example, appeal, you only have a certain limited amount of time to do that. And that time frame is as of the notice date. So generally, you get 30 days to appeal an IRS decision. And let's see if there's anything really noticeable about that. I don't see anything off the top of my head, but as we go through this, maybe something will pop up. But generally speaking, any time frame that you have starts with the notice date. So usually with a payment notice, you have 21 days, for example, from the notice date to make your payment in full, or else they would have to send you a new letter with a new calculation based on any interest or penalties that may have accrued. So on the left-hand side should be your correct taxpayer name and address. I always encourage people to make sure that their address is up to date with the Internal Revenue Service. So normally filing your tax return will take care of this, as the IRS will update your tax record with the address that is on your latest income tax return. If you're in between tax returns or you're expecting additional correspondence, which most people don't expect correspondence, then you can either call the IRS and validate your information and change your address over the phone, or you can file IRS Form 8822 for individual taxpayers, IRS Form 8822-B for business owners. So that will update your address on file and then allows you to not sit on hold for long periods of time. So let's take a look at this particular notice. So it says, as a result of our audit, you owe $1,799.52. So the breakdown is that there was an account balance before the change. There was an increase in tax, but then there was a decrease in the credit. There is an increase in the interest and a decrease in the interest that the IRS owes you. So all that said, your balance is $1,799.52. So if you agree with the changes, go ahead and pay. Again, they said 21 days usually is the standard for that on-time payment, and that happens to be 21 days from this notice date right here. So if you pay that current amount by February 20th, then you would avoid any additional interest or penalties. So you can pay on the IRS website through this link right here, or you can send this payment voucher. So if you send the payment voucher, you should cut that off. Keep the rest of the notice in your records. Make your check or money order payable to the United States Treasury. Write your Social Security number, the tax year, and the form number on your check or money order. And send your payment and your check or money order, your payment voucher and your check or money order to this address right here. You'll notice that on this notice, it's different from this address, which is in Holtzville, New York. So make sure that you send the payment to the address, the IRS office where that is listed on your payment voucher. So if you don't agree, you can call the 800 number to review your account with a representative. You should have your account information, your tax return, stuff like that, any supporting documentation that would support your side of things. So I haven't seen anything in detail about what was caught as a result of the audit. So you should have a copy of the audit letter that will kind of pinpoint you, and you should at least have your documentation in files that address those points. So if you want to make payment, you can pay on the IRS website. You can apply for a payment plan if you can't pay the full amount at once. You can also file IRS Form 9465. That's an installment agreement request form. You can submit an offer and compromise letter, which basically asks the IRS to settle for less money than you owe them. So you can pull up a copy of your tax account balance. You can pull up a copy of your transcript to see, across what tax years you owe money. So we'll put links in the show notes on how you can get that information, because you can also file IRS Form 4506-T to get your tax transcript information. So there's a couple of ways that you can obtain that additional information if you want to. If you don't do anything by February 20th, then the IRS will come back and assess additional interest and penalty charges. So this section walks you through interest charges. It goes quarter by quarter, like with interest rate changes, and there's some verbiage about how they're required to calculate interest by law. So there's not a whole lot of flexibility there. You can get some additional information. I'm going to go ahead and select this hyperlink just to see if there's anything else on the IRS website. So there is similar information. There are some frequently asked questions, like what you should do if you disagree. For example, if you've already paid the amount due, but you disagree, then you must file a formal claim to get that money back by filing an amended tax return. So for any forms that we've mentioned in this video, we'll put links in the show notes to articles and videos that we've created about them. So just additional questions. If you receive a penalty for not paying the full amount, you can set up a payment plan. Let's see, some actions by your spouse. So if you get dinged on an audit because of things that your spouse did that you knew nothing about, you can request what's known as innocent spouse relief. So as long as you do that within 2 years after the date that the IRS first tried to collect the tax from you. So not necessarily from your tax return, but if you received an audit letter 6 months later and a letter requesting money, that would be the first time that the IRS tried to get money from you. So 2 years from that date, you can file for innocent spouse relief. So I think I've covered basically everything in this notice. So like I said, we'll put links in the show notes to some of the resources that mentioned here. If you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. In our newsletter, we try to publish updates to articles or new articles as we publish them. And on Tuesdays, we're trying something called Tax Tip Tuesdays. So subscribe to our newsletter in the link in the show notes if you're interested in learning more. So thank you very much and have a great day.